We'll call to order the City of Douglasville's City Council regular meeting for tonight, which is March the 18th. Our invocation will be done by Pastor Matt Schaefer, small groups pastor of the church at Chapel Hill. And after that, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance. They'll be led by our Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel. Please stand for the invocation.
Would you bow your heads with me? Father God, we need you. We need you here in this room. We can't do anything without you, and we don't want to do anything without you for this city. Father, there is no authority but the authority that you have appointed. And so we pray for our leaders tonight and everybody in this room that there would be unity, God, that you would guide hearts, you would guide minds, so that years from now, children like Raven back here, God, and her friends would have a city that they can experience peace and prosperity in so many ways. And we thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem and Pastor Schaefer. We appreciate the invocation. We'll go through announcements and presentations so that we'll all be on the same page and how the meeting will be run tonight. And after that, we'll move on with the agenda. So I'd like to welcome you to the Douglasville City Council committee meetings again, and just go over just a few protocol issues. This is a meeting where we are going to vote on items that were discussed at our City Council work session last Thursday, and the items that we voted on tonight, we will not have discussion on those items unless you have some clarifying information to bring forward. If the business you're here for to discuss is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item, comments from citizens and delegates, and you can come at that time and bring us your comments, and you have 5 minutes to do that. I would ask that you keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. And we'll ask for one person to speak at a time, of course, and we'll ask that you would not applaud, cheer, make disturbing comments, talk to others in the audience, that you would address the chairperson. If you have a cell phone or any electronic device, we ask please that you would put those in silent mode or turn those off until the meeting is completed, so there won't be a distraction. As I've talked about, being distraction during the meeting, we'll give you a warning, and we'll ask that you will not do that if you're distracted. And after the second warning, we'll ask that you would leave the premises from the council meeting if that does not work. So the agenda items will be handled in the following way. The chairperson will ask for the applicant to come forward, and this is a voting meeting, so that will go pretty quickly. And he will make a motion, and we'll vote on that. And then public hearings, if there's a public hearing, we'll give the public hearing, and there's 30 minutes for, 30 minutes against. And that's pretty much how it goes. This is not, when you come for comments from citizens and delegates, it's not a debate session. It's really just to present your information. We won't go back and forth with questions and answers. It's kind of just presenting the information to us. So that is about it. Now we'll move on with the agenda items. And the first agenda item is item number 5, which are minutes for approval. So open the floor for minutes of the legislative work session of February the 28th, 2019, and regular meeting of March the 4th, 2019. I open the floor for a motion to approve.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem. There is a motion on the floor. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you so much. It's been properly moved and second to approve the minutes. Are there any corrections, deletions, or comments as it relates to the minutes from council members? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the legislative work session of February 28th and regular meetings of March 4th, 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. We'll move on to the consent agenda. I open the floor for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you so much. It's been properly moved in second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do we have any questions or comments from council members as it relates to the consent agenda? Thank you, not seeing any. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The consent agenda is approved. Now we will move on to committees. I'm not sure that registered. Did it register?
Still highlighted on minutes approval.
Okay. Miss City Clerk, has it gone on from the consent agenda? Okay. Public Safety Committee, we open the floor for the committee chair if there's a report. Public Safety Committee chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Madam Chair, I don't have any items tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to Community and Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have 2 items.
There we go.
First item is to appoint an individual to serve on the City of Douglasville's Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board Restaurant 2 post for an unexpired term extending through December 31st, 2019. We did interview 2 candidates in committee meetings today, and we have a ballot right here so that we can select from among them or abstain. You want to add anything to that, Ms. Jackson?
No, Mayor Pro Tem, I will not. I will come by and pick up your ballots, and then I will count the ballots. We have 1 vote for Karen Howard by by Councilmember Miller. We have 1 vote for Ms. Karen Howard by Councilman Davis. 1 vote Karen Howard by Councilwoman Burdanley. We have 1 vote for Karen Howard by Mayor Pro Tem Siegel. We have 1 vote for Karen Howard by Mayor Robinson. We have 1 vote for Miss Elena Hudson by Councilman Mark Adams, and then we have 1 vote for Miss Karen Howard, and that is by Councilmember Chris Watts. So we have a total of 5 for Miss Karen Howard and 2 for Miss Elena Hudson.
Thank you very much. I will then make the motion for Ms. Karen Howard, who received the majority of votes, item 21-19-3, to appoint Ms. Karen Howard to serve on the City of Douglasville's Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board Restaurant 2 post for an unexpired term extending through December 31st, 2019.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much. It's been properly moved and second to approve 21-19-3, appointing Ms. Karen Howard to the Douglasville Convention and Visitors Bureau, CVB, Advisory Board, Restaurant, Post 2, for an unexpired term extending through the end of the year, December 31st, 2019. Any comments from council members? I would just like to say, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, we had 2 great candidates, and we're so excited to have the Vine being appointed to this board, and we also, the other candidate serves on one of our other boards at DDA, so it's just exciting to have both of them engaged in the community. Thank you. All those in favor of approving 21-19-3, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Ms. Karen Howard is appointed to the advisory board.
All right, and our second item was not on our Thursday meeting, so I did receive an email about this late Friday night. It's item 21-19-4, authorize the mayor to sign a letter to the Corporation for National and Community Service, committing city resources in return for the labor of 2 VISTA volunteers from the Georgia Housing Finance Authority VISTA project. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, sir. Chelsea Jackson, 6695 Church Street. Basically, the letter that you have as attached to your Granicus or Legistar handout is basically stating that we will serve as a resource for two AmeriCorps Vista volunteers. As you all know, throughout the past year, we have been working with DCA as it relates to coordinated entry system and homelessness and just transition and streamlining that process throughout the Douglasville, Douglas County area. This actually alleviates staff work for any City of Douglasville employees. So what will happen was DCA will actually train those AmeriCorps volunteers. It will be 2 volunteers placed in the city/county, as well as they are also soliciting other volunteers for a continuum of care throughout the state of Georgia. So in total, they'll receive 18, and 2 will be dispersed to the City of Douglasville in exchange, as they said, for resources, i.e., laptop, as well as office space and/or conference room, just when they're in the area assisting with homelessness and their coordinated entry process.
Thank you. Having heard that explanation, I put forth item 21-19-4 in the form of a motion for approval.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 21-19-4. Any questions or comments from council members? I would just like to say, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, this is very exciting, Ms. Jackson. I know we received an award for $75,000 to help with this initiative to help with homelessness, and so we'll have on-site Vista volunteer, well, they're not volunteers, but workers to help assist the homeless population to really guide them with the resources, sending them to Mr. Brunson or Judge Bo McClain or any of those services. So we'll have an actual person or persons that they can go to in a city facility to then be transferred and helped to get back on their feet. So this is really positive and exciting that we can do this for the homeless population with Department of Community Affairs.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're welcome. Any other comments from council members? I don't want to monopolize the conversation.
You did an
Thank
excellent
you.
job.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. It's been properly moved and second to approve 21-19-4. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 21-19-4 is approved.
That's all we have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to Planning and Development Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
We
welcome.
have several items tonight under Planning and Development. We will start with item 22-19-20. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for sales of new and used cars for property zone CG General Commercial District, being for .504 acres at 8199 Dallas Highway, Highway 92, in Land Lot 17, District 1, Section 5, Parcel B89, 889, 888, and 880. Application by Doris Wall. Jonathan, do you have something for us there?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It's Jonathan Corona, Interim Zoning Administrator, 6701 Church Street. This application has been withdrawn by the applicant, and the letter from Ms. Doris is included in the attachments.
Yes, sir. We have a letter, Council, I'm sure that you all have seen it. We do have a letter that's been included in our packet tonight requesting that it be withdrawn. So having said that, we will not take any action on item 22-19-20. Thank you, sir. Item B, I want to make a motion to remove from the table item 22-19-11.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to remove from the table item 22-19-11. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to remove from the table item 22-19-11. All those in favor of removing this item from the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Do we have any questions as we then begin to move on to the item for discussion or for voting? I don't
Thank you,
see any.
Madam Mayor.
It's been approved. Yes, sir.
Have removed it from the table. Now we will have item 22-19-11, which was tabled from February 4th, 2019, considering a request for revised final plat approval for the shops at Chapel Hill for the purpose of reconfiguring Tract 1 for 3.734 acres, Tract 2 for 4.255 acres, Tract 3 for .487 acres, and Tract 4 for 1.625 acres, for a total of 10.103 acres, to reflect modifications to ownership and the as-built conditions and authorized structure setbacks at 3000 Chapel Hill Road in Land Lot 47, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 215. Application by ARCP MT Douglasville, Georgia, LLC. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Chairman Adams, Madam Mayor, Chairman Adams, members of council, Mr. Dotson, David Cooper, back with you again. I have nothing else to offer in terms of information. We're asking for your approval. Mayor Robinson, I did want to remind you that after we had our discussion at public hearing last week, Mr. Dotson expressed no objection to going ahead and getting the plat signed by you, and I'm hoping we can do that immediately after your vote so that I am not here all evening waiting for the signature. If you could help me out, I'd be most appreciative.
If it's favorably voted on, then we
Thank
can
you.
expedite that. Yes, sir.
Is there anyone here that would provide new information concerning this application? We have had a request. I do want to hear any questions or comments from council. I know it had been tabled. This is, it's my understanding, this is an item that is reconfiguring several different parcels that are now owned by different individuals, and because some of those are different companies, entities, and because some of those are not now owned altogether, there were some lot lines and some as-bills that had to be authorized. Any question or comment that anyone have? Seeing none, then I make a motion to approve item 22-19-11.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve 22-19-11. Is there a second? Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve 22-19-11. Any further discussion as it relates to this item from council members? Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-11 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on to item 22-19-21. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for change in zoning from DCD Design Concept District with a base zone of CG General Commercial District to amend the development text to provide for 0 lot side yard setbacks for 9.614 acres plus or minus acres at 3000 Chapel Hill Road, Land Lot 47, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 215. Application by ARCP MT Douglasville, Chapel Hill, Georgia, LLC.
Good evening again, David Cooper, 5555 Glen Ridge Connector, Atlanta, 30342. Same announcement. You all know no new information to offer, just asking for the paperwork to please get processed as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. This being a public hearing, our mayor has already explained the way that works. I'll give the opportunity for anyone that would have new information on this application in this second public hearing to come forward. For those that may be speaking in favor of it first, and if not, then anyone that might be here to speak in opposition to this public hearing application. Anyone? Seeing none? Council, mayor, any questions or comments? Seeing none, then we'll close the public hearing, and on item 22-19-21, I make a motion for approval.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 22-19-21. Is there any further discussion as it relates to this item from council members? Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving 22-19-21, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-21 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll go
Welcome.
on to item 22-19-22. As soon as I can clear this off my screen. Pardon our hold up. I will read it from my hand text since my screen is blocked at the moment, and I apologize. We're on item E. Item 22-19-22, hold a public hearing to consider a request for variance to reduce the requirement for traffic study in section 3.03.07 of the zoning ordinance for a remaining requirement of no traffic study required for a lot of 0.5 plus or minus acres at 6914 Springwood Drive, Land Lot 160, District 2, Section 5, Parcel 37, application by Gail Harding. Go ahead, sir.
Jonathan Corona, Interim Zoning Administrator, 6701 Church Street. This applicant has withdrawn her application for a variance.
Thank you, sir. We did have also a letter requesting that this application be withdrawn. Are there any question or comment of council concerning this action? We'll be taking no action on this item tonight.
Okay.
Moving on to item 22-19-23, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for accessory family daycare home, 1 to 6 persons for 0.5 plus or minus acres at 6914 Springwood Drive, land lot 160, District 2, Section 5, parcel number 37, application by Gail Harding.
Jonathan Corona, interim zoning administrator, 6701 Church Street. This applicant has withdrawn her application for rezoning.
This is the same applicant and same location as the previous item, and as we said, there's a letter requesting this to be withdrawn, so we'll take no action tonight on item 22-19-23. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 22-19-24. Thank you, sir. Hold a public hearing and, thank you, Madam Mayor. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for change in zoning from DCD Design Concept District with a base zone of CG General Commercial District and OD Office Distribution District to R6 Single Family Attached Apartment Residential District for 93.07 acres at 0 Riverside Parkway in land lot 168, District 1, Section 5, parcels numbers 1 and 2, application by New Manchester Resort and Golf LLC. Yes, sir, go forward.
Jonathan Corona, interim zoning administrator, 6701 Church Street. At your last work session, this applicant requested to table this.
Yes, sir. We did have discussion on Thursday night concerning this because there are some questions concerning the need for this potential rezoning. New Manchester Golf and Resort and Golf had asked us to consider tabling it. Is there anyone here that would have information that we may need in making our decision tonight, as far as anyone that would speak at a public hearing for or against this item? If you have not been heard and you can provide new information, we'd love to hear from you. Any counsel or Madam Mayor, any comment? Yes, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Chair, I think it's fortunate they are tabling it. I guess it's for a particular procedural reason they're doing that, having to do with how they will go back on the original zoning. But I wanted to make a comment regarding the design from my perspective, and I do hope that, and it's unfortunate, I don't think they have any of the representatives here tonight that I'm aware of, but I'm hoping that they will reconsider the design of that apartment complex if they do wish to go forward with the application under the CDC, that, or the DCD, that it would be that they look at the example of tributary as the basis for the design. I mean, what they've designed is not really very attractive, quite frankly, and doesn't really seem to be appropriate to the neighborhood and the type of housing and the type of architecture that you see in that particular area. I mean, frankly, after having looked at the pictures they presented, it reminds me a lot of the apartment I lived in college, which wasn't exactly a very high-level place. So I hope that they would at least take that into consideration, and I would expect that the quality is what they come back with to show us that this is something that's in line with the type of development the tributary was meant to be. So that's my comments regarding the design of the complex.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any other comment or question? Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
To echo Mr. Miller's comments, the design drawings or the depictions that we saw do not appear to conform to the design standards of the DCD, and therefore, whatever they do going forward, we would want to make sure that that is done. Those design standards in the DCD are there for a reason.
Point well taken. Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other?
I concur.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Having heard that information, then item 22-19-24, I make a motion to table until the meetings of March 28th, 2019 and April 1st, 2019.
Thank you so much. We had a hearty second. It's been properly moved and second to table item 22-19-24 to the meetings of March the 28th and April 1st, 2019. Is there any further discussion from council members as it relates to this item? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of tabling this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The item is approved. 22-19-24 to the meetings of March 28th and April 1st, 2019.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on to item H. 22-19-25, hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from R2 Single Family Detached Residential District to IL Light Industrial District for 14.83 acres at 8145 Cedar Mountain Road, Land Lot 223, District 2, Section 5, Parcel 2, application by the City of Douglasville.
Yes, sir. Jonathan Corona, Interim Zoning Administrator, 6701 Church Street. On behalf of the city, I'd like to request to table this item for your next meeting. A final plat approval and acceptance of the easements on the property concurrently with this rezoning would be a more appropriate sequence for this item.
Thank you, Mr. Coretta. I understand from talking with council and from discussion there that we need to follow the exact same protocol and be as transparent as we would require any member of our community to do in a rezoning, and it seems as though we may have not completely 100% followed that to this point, so we want to slow the process down and make sure that we do that correctly. Any comment from anyone here that would like to speak? It being a public hearing, I do want to give that opportunity. If there's anyone here that would speak, first of all, in support of this application, even though we are having a request for a table, we have advertised for a public hearing, so I'd like to give any opportunity that I could. Not seeing anyone to speak in support, is there anyone here that would speak in opposition to this application? Seeing none, are there any other comments or questions from council or Madam Mayor? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Yes, ma'am?
You don't.
You'll need to come forward if you'd like to make a comment, fill out the necessary forms, and give us your name and address for the record. We'd love to hear from you if you have a question concerning the public hearing. Just as a matter of clarification, what has been, come forward, you're fine. As a matter of clarification, what we're discussing is the possibility of tabling this because we have some of our paperwork that we feel we need to provide that has not been provided yet in order to be 100% transparent and follow the same rules and the same requirements of our citizens in doing a rezoning on behalf of the city.
I think I understand that part. I think
Can you
my
give us your,
question-
I'm sorry, your name and
I'm
address?
sorry, my name is Venice Johnson. My address is 7138 Creeksong Drive in Douglasville.
Okay, we'd ask you to fill out a form when you leave, and we'll allow you to go ahead and speak or have your 5 minutes to speak concerning it, and then just fill out the form when you complete your time, please.
Okay, I guess my question wasn't about tabling. I guess I was trying to understand if this was changing the zoning from residential to industrial?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. And my next question would be, is there more information about that particular rezoning issue that I can look at myself? I'm new to Douglasville, so I'm trying to get engrafted in this whole thing.
Okay.
So,
Okay. We are tabling, this is a portion, ma'am, of the property that we have set aside for a new maintenance and sanitation maintenance facility off Cedar Mountain Road that the city owns. And this is a part of the property that was not zoned already industrial, or if I'm correct, is that correct, Ms. Littlefield? And so we're trying to bring everything under the umbrella to be completely transparent about what we're doing with it. And so that is a portion of that property.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Would you please see the Madam Clerk there and fill out the form? Thank you so much. Anyone else? I think I had already asked if there was anyone to speak in opposition. Seeing none, then we will close the public hearing. And on item 22-19-25, I make a motion to table until the meetings of March 28th and April 1st.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to table item 22-19-25. May I have a second, please? Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve, to table items 22-19-25 to the meetings of March the 28th and April 1st, 2019. Are there any additional questions, comments, or further discussion from council members? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of tabling item 22-19-25 to the March 28th and April 1st meetings of 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-25 is tabled to 28th of March and April 1st, 2019.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll
Welcome.
move on to item I, 22-19-26. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from R2, Single Family Detached Residential District to CG General Commercial District for .45 acres at 8252 Dallas Highway, Highway 92 in Land Lot 17, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 22, application by Lewis E. Cobb. Mr. Credit, can you help us with that, please?
Yes, sir. Jonathan Corona, Interim Zoning Administrator, 6701 Church Street. Just as a reminder, this is just a bit of housekeeping, but I have nothing new to add.
Thank you, sir. Okay. It being a public hearing, if there's anyone here that would like to speak concerning this item, either for or against, if you'd come forward, state your name and address for the record. We'd love to hear from you if you have new information. Anyone here to speak for or in opposition to this item? And as Mr. Corona has said, this is a matter of housekeeping in that this property has been used for general commercial, I want to say since it was built, and I don't know the history as to how many years ago, but many years ago, and it just now needs to be made correct in our records as to how it is zoned. Anyone here to speak for or against in this public hearing? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Is there any questions that council may have or Madam Mayor may have? Okay. Seeing none, I make a motion then to approve item 22-19-26.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 22-19-26. Are there any additional questions or comments as it relates to this item from council members? Thank you. Not seeing any. All those in favor of approving 22-19-26, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-26 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We will move on then to item 22-19-27. Hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a family personal care home of 2 to 6 people for elderly care at 6234 Melrose Street, being .57 plus or minus acres, Land Lot 21, District 1, Section 5, Parcel D008, application by Luke Pollock. Good evening, Mr. Pollock. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. My name's Luke Pollock. I'm 6234 Melrose Street, Douglasville, Georgia, and I would just like to ask Madam Mayor and the council to please approve. The only new information, there was one question last meeting about how many square feet there were for the people that I was planning to have, and I explained building in the garage. It will be a little over 2,600 square feet, including the finished basement when it's finished, if it's approved.
Okay. Is that 2,600 square feet, Mr. Pollock, on the main level and the enclosed carport, what you're planning to do?
It'll be about 2,000 square feet on the main level with this carport, and then 500 or so square feet, 600 square feet on the basement level.
Did you not tell us on Thursday night that you plan to occupy the basement as your own? So you would actually, just for clarification purposes, you would be providing about 2,000 square feet for use for the personal care home and 500 to 600 for your use, correct?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Questions of council for the applicant? Madam Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, I don't know if Dr. Bardanley would ask this question about your application with the state. I know that she had asked that, and I didn't want to steal your thunder, but I wanted to remember it while I was thinking about it.
Yes, ma'am. I have not yet made that application. That application takes about 2 months, as according to the Georgia's licensing guidelines.
Okay.
It does require a fee of $350+, and I've already spent about $750 getting the survey done and then paying for this. So I didn't want to spend that until I got an answer on that, because it's non-refundable.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And last question, Chief, I drove by the other day on Melrose and Melrose Court. Can a fire truck or ambulatory or any services get through? It's kind of narrow in that area. Would they have to go to the court? It seems like there's a dead end or something. How would they get in and get out? Mm-hmm. It's kind of congested. I mean, pardon me? Yes, sir. Okay.
I would add this, Madam Mayor, I was there and visited the site on Thursday, early afternoon, and I think what would be required there is that you would turn just past the driveway of this residence, this applicant's location, and make a left and go around a circle.
Okay,
Because there is
the
not
court.
a cul-de-sac at the end of the street.
Okay.
There is not a cul-de-sac, no. It is a dead end.
Okay, so I thought it was a dead end.
Okay, is there anyone else here then that would speak in support of this application? New information only, please. Yes, sir. Come forward, state your name and address for the record, and we'd be glad to hear from you.
Greetings, Mayor Robinson, Councilman. My name is David Mitchell. Address is 6286 Cooper Street. I was listening to everything, and I kind of let it soak in because this obviously is so new. But I look at these elders that want a quality of life and not a rest home. Because what does the definition of rest home? It's the end. And I'm not saying rest homes are poor, but they're, through experience that I've been employed, and also standards of care has been substandard. Being in a residential area, and also the fact that these people may not have ever experienced that type of lifestyle, obviously, because it's a rest home, it's towards the end. But if they live in a house, in a nice neighborhood, the way they used to live, and I use this because I put myself in the elder's place. With challenges, I grew up very well. I'd like to live the same way all through life and not worry about the experiences that I don't want to be character of or be or to be subject to such characters that has brought trauma and elements for cause that will delay one's peaceful enjoyment. And to be able to, and I'm sure obviously it sounds like he knows what he's doing. He has all his, everything in accord, and that's why otherwise he wouldn't bring it in front of you guys. I don't have family here. I'm from California, and I sure would like each one of you to live in where you want to live, because guess what? You guys would be happy. And then you won't have to worry about your family members stop coming to visit you, because that happens. And then what happens? Lifespan narrows very quickly. And if you treat a patient like a patient, they'll act like a patient. If you treat them like regular everyday persons that are just trying to have their days of quality, they will thrive. And I really hope that this is approved because it is a starting, since I believe you guys said there wasn't any kind of personal care homes available here in Douglasville. And you know, what about your grandchild coming over to see Grandpa to get advice? Do you think he would like to be sour? No. I would expect that he's got some stories to tell. And I think that would be a perfect place in a private setting. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would speak in favor of this application, please come forward. Is there anyone that would speak with new information in opposition to the application? Please come forward. New information, please.
My name is Elizabeth Allwise, 6225 Melrose Street, Douglasville, Georgia. I live across the street, as y'all remember. There were some other questions I had about, I know that he said that if he sold the resident, if he moved, and sold the resident, it would not be a, it wouldn't be zoned, it wouldn't still be the same thing, they'd have to reapply. But the other thing is, I don't know that there's anything about if he, he's supposed to be living there, but if he just, after he gets it fixed, he doesn't want to live there. Is there anything about that? because he was supposed to be, going to be, help provide care for them. And the parking and the emergency vehicles is still a big concern for us, as far as turning. The school bus already goes all the way around all over my yard as it is right now, turning. And, obviously if my house is on fire and the fire truck's going to get down there, we just don't know how many emergency vehicles are we going to have if you have a lot of elderly living across the street, so.
Thank you very much. Others that might speak in opposition to this item? I'm sorry? If you'd like to speak, sir, come forward to the podium and give us your name and address for the record. And then if you've not filled out the form, if you would see the clerk there when you finish, she would give you a form to fill out. How are you, sir?
All right, thanks.
Name and address for the record?
My name is Reverend C.L. Day. My address is 5125 Roxton Lane, Douglasville, 30135.
Okay.
I'm also the chairman of the Douglasville NAACP branch political committee. I was just trying to get some clarity on, does this project receive any federal dollars, being federal or state or local? And another one is, and if so, would there be any Section 8 housing? And what would be the financial responsibility of the residents that live in there in terms of would it be costing them maybe $700 to $1,000 a month or $3,000 to $500 a month? So could you give me some clarity on those?
Yes, sir. What I think we would do, in all fairness, is we would ask the applicant to come up and answer those questions. I don't think that we have information that we can share with you, but I'll be glad to give him a moment to come back and answer those questions for you, and those are Bible questions, yes, sir. I believe it was told to us on Thursday night, though, that this it definitely could not be a Section 8 housing. This is for individuals, 2 to 6 individuals in the home, to have personal care with state requirements as to the number of people that are required to be there, depending upon how many people are there being cared for. As far as the cost, I don't know that Mr. Pollock has shared that, but I'll give him the opportunity to answer that question.
And
but excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I was going to say Mr. Pollock did say it was private, so it isn't.
That is correct.
State or federal funding is private funding.
There is no outside funding. There is no government. There is no government involvement. It's what my understanding is of what the applicant has told us.
so I guess that leads to the target population in terms of and the cost to live there, as well as what is the quality of care that would be provided to individuals.
I would assume that it would be a requirement of the state that you would have to come under in order to be able to provide those services. You have to have the application approved by the state. What department is it? Mr. Pollock, come forward if you would. You can help us with this just so that we have clarity for this individual, please. 1, general cost. 2, what department within the state would you have to have this approved by and through?
It would be approved by and through the Georgia Department of Community Health. It is a pretty involved process. They give guidelines for who can be hired, what kind of backgrounds they must have, the kind of training that they must have on a continual basis year after year. The cost, it would be all private pay, and the cost would be comparable to some of the, it'd be comparable to some of the assisted living facilities in the area, but a little more affordable than most of the assisted living facilities in the area, like Bentwater on Lee Road, and I can't remember the name of the big one that's right across from First Baptist Church, but it would be more affordable than those and would be very, those facilities have, they can have up to 15 to 20 patients per staff member. And at my place, it would be, the maximum number would be 1 to 6, but usually there would be 2 there.
So assisted living, the cost can start anywhere from $2,000 to maybe $7,000 monthly. Are you falling in the middle of that?
I would be probably on the lower end of that, but to make it a financially viable, sustainable business, I would have to be able to pay the employees.
Gentlemen, with all due respect, I think this is not something that would be a part of our decision-making process as to what the fees would be. If it is a private assisted living facility, then those fees, of course, would be set by market as to what someone were willing to pay. And if there's no government involvement in it as to the payment by the government for such services, then I don't know that that's even applicable here.
Well, I sort of differ from you in terms of government involvement, because it's going to use, you talked about the fire department, the police department.
I agree with that.
That is government, that's individual tax
Yes,
money that's going into that. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comment, and thank you, Mr. Pollack, for assisting. Any other input? Anyone else would like to speak in opposition to the application? Please come forward. How much time do we have, Ms. Acker?
I'm at 30 minutes.
Gary Woodman, 6263 Melrose Street. I just wanted to speak for those I'd talked to in the community and an attorney. He wanted me to remind you that this is not a charity event. This is not for charity. This is a money-making business. And a lot of homeowners did not know about it and are very unhappy that they weren't notified by him or anybody until I knocked on their door and told them about it. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would speak in opposition to this application? Any other questions of council?
Yes,
Yes.
sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Madam Mayor.
I was going to say, Mr. Gary, I apologize, I didn't get a chance to write down his last name, but had stated at the work session that he had a petition of 21 names, and I don't see it uploaded to our system. Did we have the petition? Okay, so I was just making certain, because I know that he
thunder, Madam Mayor.
did say that he had a petition, and I, was looking, I didn't see it uploaded, or we didn't have one. So as long as we have access to it, that would be fine. Thank you, Ms. Vicki. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Would you clarify that for us, Ms. Acker? We do have a petition from the neighborhood signed by 21 residents that are in opposition to this.
There is a petition. I'm not sure the number that was signed, but there is one.
Thank you. Mr. Watts.
Mr. Chairman, I see that as something, I would have liked to have seen that, because 42 people didn't show up here in opposition, but several have. One of my questions goes along with Chairwoman Burdanley. She was talking about the gap between us potentially approving this and them taking that next step with the state. And so I was wondering if the vote was approved tonight and then the state for some reason turned them down, then I'm asking that makes whatever decisions made tonight null and void, or how does that?
A legal question?
No, you grant the special land use permit, it will be in effect. You would have to put a condition on it that the state approve the license. Basically, once it's part of the zoning, in other words.
So basically, if this item were to be approved, then it would still be contingent upon the state approval before they'd be able to operate.
And of course, if he got turned down, he can reapply.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other person that would like to speak in opposition to? I think we've given ample opportunity then for that. I'll close the public hearing. Based upon the information that we have heard, I think that Madam Mayor brings up a good point. I think that Mr. Watts brings up a good point, in that I would hope that we would be provided with that if there are 21 or 23 or whatever the number are that are here or that are not here but have stated opposition to this application. I'm a little surprised that those people are not with us. But having that evidence, I understand that staff is going after that evidence. Faced with that, I don't know that it would be fair for us to take action on this tonight for that reason. So on item 22-19-27, in order to give everyone an opportunity, I'm going to make a motion that we table item 22-19-27 to the meetings of March 28th and April 1st.
Thank you. It's been properly moved in second to table item 22-19-27 to the meetings of March the 28th and April 1st, 2019. All those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. I apologize. I didn't open up for any more discussion. Did anyone else want to have to say anything?
I would like to say,
Chairman.
Madam Mayor, I did not say this. Faced with the information that we have in-house that staff has, but not being provided to us, I do not feel that it'd be fair that we would be asked to take action on it without examining that and giving each of us the opportunity to review that information. That was the reason for my motion. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate your explanation. So after hearing all of that and the deliberations and comments that we've had, there is a motion and second and the majority. All those in favor again of tabling item 22-19-27 to the meetings of March 28th and April 1st, 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-27 is tabled to the meetings of March 28th and April 1st.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on. Item K is item 22-19-28. Authorize the mayor to sign a task order with Jacobs Engineering Group Incorporated, amending the parties' agreement of August 24, 2017, to add an additional scope of work for staff augmentation and completion of the draft Unified Development Code ordinance. Ms.
Good
Williams?
evening. Patrice Williams, Community Development Director for the City of Douglasville, 6701 Church Street. I have nothing new to add to this item.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Littlefield, you had asked, is this the item that you would like to also speak on concerning this, or is it the next item?
So the next one, please.
The next one, okay. Any other comment or question of council, please, concerning this item? Seeing none, I make a motion on 22-19-28 to approve.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Thank you. It's been properly moved in second to approve item 22-19-28. Is there any further discussion as it relates to this item from council members? Not seeing any. All of those in favor of approving 22-19-28, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-28 is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And
Welcome.
last but not least, item L. I still have something on my screen, so I'll read it off the paper. Item 22-19-29, refer to the zoning board a proposed ordinance to adopt a new zoning map and a new unified development ordinance, repealing the current zoning map and repealing the current zoning ordinance and development ordinance. Ms. Williams, did you have something to speak or add to concerning that?
This is just a reminder that this is the UDO being referred to the zoning board, and Ms. Littlefield will speak to the item.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Littlefield?
Yes, sir. I'll just say that before you see this again in final form, the map will change because we're going to need to capture any rezonings that you did tonight and on other nights until you can pass the new map. So it'll be a little bit different the next time you see it. Also, today we made 4 more minor changes before it goes off. And if you refer it tonight, those will be included. They are to correct a reference to appeals. All appeals will go to the Board of Appeals rather than to the City Council first on interpretations. Also, we'll correct it to say that the Community Development Director is the zoning official and that the mayor appoints the Board of Adjustments and Appeals. But most importantly, we will address that issue we discussed some weeks ago to say more clearly that the mayor and the council have final authority in interpreting whether any requested use is properly classified within the use chart. If it appears that it goes in more than one, the council gets the last say on where it ought to go. So
Thank you.
Those changes will be included.
So we would have any rezonings that we've done between now and when it actually comes back to us from the zoning board included in addition to those changes you've just mentioned?
Yes, sir.
Mainly housekeeping, but that last item was of some importance.
It was.
Okay. Any question or comment? Seeing none, I make a motion then to approve item 22-19-29, referring to the zoning board, this ordinance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to approve item 22-19-29. Is there any additional conversations or questions or comments as it relates to this item, going back to the zoning board? Thank you, council members. All those in favor of approving 22-19-29, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 22-19-29 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all that we have.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I know, that was a lot. We'll move on to item 10, Parks and Recreation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under Parks and Rec.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll move on to Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
No business, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Information and Technology Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no items at this time under Information and Technology.
Thank you, sir. Maintenance and Sanitation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business in maintenance and sanitation tonight.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. We'll move on to Transportation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're
Yes, we
welcome.
have one item. Item 27-19-7, authorize the mayor to sign a construction contract with Exceller for the lighting and banners Phase 2 curb and gutter project.
Terese Williams, Community Development Director, 6701 Church Street. We did discuss this item on Thursday in committee as well as tonight, and so at this point, we're asking for your support for this, for the lowest bidder.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Madam Mayor and Council, I make a motion that we approve item 27-19-7.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve item 27-19-7. Is there any additional conversation, comments, or questions as it relates to this item? I know we did talk about this in committee, and we were afforded an explanation about the difference in the bids that we received from the 4 companies, and it was great information that helped to make us make this decision. So all those in favor of approving 27-19-7, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay, do we have 4-2? Did that come across in our voting, or we're still waiting?
It shows 4-2.
Okay, so the majority of the council has voted to approve, so motion carries. 27-19-7 is approved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No other items under Transportation.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. We'll move on to Personnel and Organization Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have one item. That's 28-19-4, approved travel and training expenses for Councilman Terry Miller to attend the May 15th through 18th, 2019 LINK program for the Pittsburgh region, sponsored by the Atlanta Regional Commission, with funds for these expenses to come from Councilman Miller's training budget. Of course, we know that there will be a budget transfer from the mayor's budget to Councilman Miller's budget to cover that. So I put forth item 28-19-4 in the form of a motion for approval.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Okay, it's been properly moved and second to approve item 28-19-4 with the correction of the funds to be for these expenses to come from the mayor's line item for budget for training and not from Councilmember Miller's T's training budget.
Well, it will come out of Councilman Miller's training budget, but there will be a budget amendment to move the money from yours to his. So
Okay.
what we're actually approving is it coming out of his budget, which it will, but then behind the scenes we'll move money from your budget to his budget.
How come it doesn't say all that in this?
Because we're approving his travel expenses.
Okay.
We'll approve the budget amendment at a later time.
Okay. I see him smiling.
Mayor Pro Tem, you will have a budget amendment on your April 1st meeting to vote on, which will be inclusive of the Mayor Pro Tem's travel. That will be transferred from Mayor Robinson's budget.
Not the Mayor Pro Tem's
I mean,
travel.
Mayor.
There he is.
From Councilman Miller.
You want to give it, that's fine. That's fine.
Not from his.
I don't even know why I can't say the word Pittsburgh when reading it without going Pittsburgh.
Anyway.
It was very,
Anyway.
very
All those in
energetic, though.
favor, it's been properly moved and second to approve item 28-19-4 with that clarity about where the monies are coming from ultimately when it's finally done. So all those in favor of approving this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Item 28-19-4 is approved.
Thank you, and although it's not on the agenda, at the appropriate time, I will be making a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter, but that's all we have for right now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember LaShawn Danley.
No items tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Danley. Education and Training Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No items tonight. I want to thank our city clerk for getting us all signed up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Communications Committee, that's chaired by Councilmember Miller T.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no items at this time under Communications Committee.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other business to come before council members tonight from the elected body? Thank you, not seeing any. We'll continue to move on. Do we have a report from our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson?
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Chief Assistant City Attorney, good to see you, Ms. Littlefield. You have anything to add?
No, ma'am, no business.
Thank you so much. City Manager, oh no, that's the chief. The chief is here. It's like the champ is here. Okay, you have anything, Chief?
No, ma'am, no business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, sir. City Manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Wow, that was fast. Okay, we'll move on to comments from citizens and delegates. We'll open the floor at this time for any citizens that have endured the meeting. And if you'd like to address us, please come forward and give your name and address for the record. And you have 5 minutes to make your comments. Thank you. Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Mitchell, you can come forward. And you have 5 minutes.
My name is David Mitchell. Good evening, Council and Mayor Robinson. Something that I would like to just interject regarding the definition of a petition. Please, I understand you guys are very intelligent, of course, and I'm sure there's regulations and rules and regulations on how you determine if the petition is a very valid one or somewhat a biased one. It's very easy to coach somebody, especially if, as a reasonable person. If I want this piece of gum right here and I have to do something that needs somebody else's help, I can accommodate. I can use examples that will be biased to be able to get this right here. All I ask is that when you guys look at the petitions, of course, it's very important. But to expand into something that will bring human qualities, that will provide peaceful enjoyment, that's what human rights are for. You know, we have things that we must sacrifice, and there's a lot more larger sacrifices that people have made other than simple reconstruction of some roads to make it possible for a quality of life. And when you look at these petitions,
okay,
I'm
Mr.
sure
Mitchell,
they're very meaningful.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just going to caution you not to, do attacks on any individual or group of individuals. I understand your passion, but we don't want to be disparaging remarks on any.
And I believe that these petitions are well sent, of course,
yes, sir.
because they have concerns that need to be answered too, because it's obviously something very new.
Yes,
and I feel that we should all get together on that instead of be separated.
Yes, sir.
I can't tell you how much I've had the enjoyment to be able to speak, to have a voice, not just for one person, but for a lot of people. that can make Douglasville thrive and more successful than it is. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Mitchell. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? You're welcome to come forward at this time and give us your name and address for the record. And you have 5 minutes to address it, so we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Hi, my name's Charles Branson, 5096 Eastbrook Road.
Yes, Mr.
30135. I came for another reason, but I wanted to take a minute to thank you for the support of the coordinated entry efforts on homelessness, and also state that I've spent some time in the past working with AmeriCorps volunteers. It's very rewarding and wonderful experience, and it's exciting to hear. I didn't know that was going to be part of what you were doing, so I'm excited to hear that. So again, thank you very much for what the city's been doing for homelessness.
Thank you, and thank you so much, Mr. Branson, for what you do for a population that some people don't pay attention to, and you're doing to the least of these. So we appreciate everything that you do for homelessness and people just giving back in the community. Thank you for your service. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? Okay, we're not seeing any. Do we have any staff reports? Oh, Mr. Aaron is here, but he made sure that we had everything written down on upcoming events. So we don't have any staff reports. Okay, well, I will open the floor for a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned into executive session to discuss a personnel matter after a 5-minute recess.